at the Cloud of Olori. The Clouds of Olori.
Deserve equal future, free of stereotypes, stigma, and violence. A future sustainable and peaceful for equal rights and opportunities. In order to attain this, the world needs women at every table where decisions are being made. That is why the Cloud of Olori brings women of accolade to the limelight. I am Aishat Indamola, additional a pleasant day to you.
Mrs. Abidoye Olubukola Roselyn, born close to 60 years ago in the town of Orago, Ifelodun local government, Kwara State, to the family of Mr. Peter Afolabi Daramola and Mrs. Mary Daramola, all of blessed memory. She attended Ekwa Primary School, Orago, Ekwa Secondary School, Ibaja, and completed her O-level in the year 1980. She attended Pivota Lokoja Teachers Training College for a year, which qualified her with Grade 2 Teachers Certificate. Thereafter, to Ebu Zaria to study English at Institute of Education, Library Science at Ado-Ekiti, and Masters in Library and Information Science at University of Ilorin. Mrs. Abidoye taught for several years. The passion she has for reading, gaining more knowledge, adding more values is what inspired her into librarianship. She is married to Mr. James Abidoye, well over 30 years, blessed with 4 children and grandchildren. Seated at the peak of Kwara State Library, she believes in her own way she is working to move the state forward.
Welcome back. The Olori on today's episode is Mrs. Abidoye Roselyn, the Director of Kwara State Library Board. Glad to have you on the program, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Okay, so what is your favorite childhood memory?
Well, it was the time that we finished our primary school along with my mates, and I was eager to go for my secondary school education. Because I can still remember vividly, it was a joyous occasion and looking towards what you want to become in life. Because as at that time, at that age, you can see we have nurses around, we have doctors around, we have lawyers and so on. So I myself was very, very inquisitive and waiting for that. I want to become something in life. And we were all talking together, sharing together with my mates, as young as we were at that time. I can still remember that one vividly. I think I cherish it.
Okay. So what honor have you received in the past that you are very proud of?
I thank God. Honor is of the Lord. And but at the same time, when you deserve it, people give it to you. I thank God. I count it a great honor to host just this past June, the National Librarian and all the directors of public library in Nigeria to come to our library here in Kwara State Library Service Board and hold a conference, the third of its kind. It's a great honor and is bestowed on this library and by ourselves, the state particularly. And it was a successful program. So we thank God. I count it a great honor. Personally, I was honored by an organization under UNESCO.
Okay.
They deemed it fit, and you can still see that is the award certificate there that was given to me, recognizing my contribution towards education and sustainable development goals in Kwara State. So I count it a great privilege because without we were giving the award, there are people of Timber and caliber that day. So having been part of them, I count it a great honor. There are so many honors. Honored even for the mere fact because it was during my own time that Kwara State Library Service Board clocked its golden jubilee. I was honored to at today, so I thank God there are so many honors. But let me introduce those things.
It's a job well done. So what are some of the important values you try to instill in people around you?
As a leader, because when you find yourself in a position of leading people, you must live by example. And definitely you must have some value to add into people's life. I make sure people that comes around me, maybe my colleagues or subordinates or wherever I staff, to always think positively. When you think positively, things will be achievable for you in an easy way. Have positive thinking. And once you have this kind of thinking that it is possible, whatever you think you want to become or whatever you think you want to do, have that positive mindset that yes, it's achievable. I can do it. And you find yourself doing it, no matter the trials and the challenges that are there. So I always prepare the mind of anybody that is close to me and sees it as a value that if you have that kind of mindset, no, the sky is not even the limit. You'll be able to achieve and go further in life. And they should always have this positive, apart from having the positive thinking, they should always know that they belong to a family. You should always hold your name and make sure you live a life that is reputable, that people can always make reference to that. Yes, you must always make sure you are not found in the kind of situation that will mar your name or mar the image of your family or whatever. This, I cherish my name. I cherish the name that I carried on and my integrity. You must always cherish your integrity. And once you don't want your integrity to be dragged into the pond, then you must be very, very careful. Avoid any shady, anything. These are kind of values that I used to put into this mind. And believe in yourself. You can always make it. And you see that not whether that you make it. In whatever field you find yourself, or whatever you find yourself doing.
Okay. If you're feeling unmotivated, what keeps you going?
Only the time I feel more motivated, I thank God because I have, I mentioned it earlier, I have very good superiors ahead of me. So I make sure I don't usually allow anything to depress me or keep me. I always find my feet going. So whenever anything like that comes up, I go to my superiors, share experience with them. By the time I leave their place, I'm through and I think I'm over. Or I make sure I call any of my children because they've been friendly to me. My husband too, I called him, okay, this is the situation, and let me tell you. We just laugh over it and they give me some courage, and that's all. And I find myself on my feet again.
So let's meet your dear family.
I thank God. Like I said, I've been married close to 40 years now, and I'm married to Mr. James Omutayo Abidoyi of Arori. He is a company Arori in the record local government of Kwara State. From Urago in the very local government of Kwara State, and by His grace, we have 4 children, and that is two girls, two women rather, okay. And 2 girls now. Okay. So, and I have grandchildren to the glory of God. And I have uncles, I have nieces, I'm from a very big family, and we are one altogether. Uncles, sisters, a lot of them are there. So these are my family. I will be to the glory of God. My daughter, Mrs. Agnes Omotola Adediji, that is my first daughter. Okay. She read linguistics in University of Illinois. She's a graduate of University of Illinois, linguistics. And my second son is a man of God. And he doesn't academically, he was just an NC holder. He finds himself in the field of spiritual whatever, and he decided to become a man of God. My third son is an engineer, and also a graduate of University of Illinois. And my last daughter, also Mrs. Fibian Omotubishi Enyola Ochichonime Joseph, she is also a librarian. She graduated from University of Illinois too, recently, and so she also read Library and Information Science in University of Illinois. These are my children, and my grandchildren are doing well in Lagos there. So I thank God for these are my family.
So what is the unusual fear you have as a leading lady?
Fear?
Yes, unusual.
Yes. As a leader, you must be fearless. But at least there will always be a kind of occasion that you just find yourself that you are entertaining fear towards one thing or the other. And whenever there is anything like that, I learned from my parents. They were very, very strong in faith, and they built me up the same way. I will always commune with God. As the God leads, tell me what to do and how to go about it, and you always find a way for it.
So, name a time when your patience was tested, and how did you keep your emotions in check?
Yes, as a leader, you should expect we are all human beings, and this kind of set of people to control most especially a human being. And you know, anything that is permanent is change. So whenever there is about to be a change, people who doesn't normally welcome, it's not everybody that will welcome it like that. You see all manners of actions and reactions here and there. I want to specifically talk about my present position where I'm occupying and related to the work that I'm doing here. As a decision-making person in the person here, I was looking at a situation whereby we can touch people's life. As a public library, we are going to. We are not meant for just the elite alone. We are to serve people that are not elites. And that is when we are talking in terms of artisans. And we have a binding section here in the library. So I now look at it. How do I touch these people's life? So we're looking, I now decided to look at when His Excellency came here, Governor Abraham, at his reception in the year 2019, and he was one that transformed this library to what we are looking at now. Before his inception, it was a serious case here. In fact, you were looking at the bear's car when you enter my office. But he was able to renovate the building, and in the request that time when he said we should name our request, I made mention of the binding section, and the approval was given that we can improve the binding section. And when it came to be, there were lots of challenges here and there that almost weighed me down. That why should I even think I should venture into this? But to God be the glory today, everything is working for me. And I thank God for that period, because it boosts my morale and even helped me to know that yes, when you are a leader, you should prepare your mind to face the challenges that comes across your way, and that must not bring you down. Rather, it should be a ginger for you to go ahead.
So what really inspired you to study library and information science?
Yeah, like I told you earlier, I was a teacher for several years, and in teaching, I find myself that often and often I find myself reading. When somebody says, I want to go through one thing or another, even no matter how minute the information might be, maybe on the wall, I'm always interested in knowing what that is all about. Then I found out when I was teaching, I'm always concerned about the students and the pupils. If they cannot pronounce the right words, like when it is time for reading and you say some of them should read, you find out that almost maybe just, let's say, 1/4 of the class are the ones that are very good at their French and reading. So I developed this interest that they must be able to pronounce this, they must be able to read very well. What is the problem? Then it means maybe they have not been going through their books, reading it or doing anything. So I had to make a kind of maybe introducing the reading canal, reading club, all this thing. This will spur me and think there's a professional that has to do with this. So my husband encouraged me to go for this librarianship, and I now said, okay, it's good since you have interest in doing things like this. I will even bring some of these students into my house and put them through. I see that I just have interest in making sure that they know how to read about reading. And it was when I now get into the profession that I knew that it's not just even a matter of reading. When you read, you add more value and knowledge to whatever you have possessed. And it encourages you to improve upon whatever you are doing. And that is why how I find my feet there, and gradually it's becoming more interesting on a daily basis. And I think I enjoy doing it. And I begin to have more passion in making sure that people really knows that there is need for us to read. You know, there's an adage that they say if you want to hide anything from any black man or something like that, you don't hide it inside the book. So we are trying to discourage people from this. And that is why I'm canvassing seriously with the opportunity that God gives me as the director of the public library presently. And that is why I have programs like Celebrating Readers Day. We have it in Kwara State Library Service Board, which comes up annually. So this year we are hoping to host it by September, Gospels. Encouraging pupils, secondary school students to come for reading competition, debate, quiz, and all those things. And we also, incentives when you give it to them, they will prepare their mind against that, encouraging them to make use of the library. You don't just waste your time on this iPhone and all manner of things, because a lot of so many things that is going on these days in terms of crime and whatsoever on this our ICT development with the phone. So it's very good. There is nothing that have advantages that doesn't have disadvantages, and that's why we are trying to let them know that they must come back to this physical reading. It's very, very important. Yes, you can read online, but the way you read online is different from how you read when you are physically taught by you in the library. And there will no digression, nothing. With full concentration, you assimilate well and digest well.
So you said there's everything that has advantages must have disadvantages. So you already pointed the disadvantages of ICT. Is there any disadvantages of reading?
There's no disadvantages in reading physically. While I can never see it that way that there's any disadvantage in the physical reading. Because what you want to read, you concentrate on. And you achieve what you want to achieve. There's, like I said, there's no digression. When you are reading online, anything can come in again, in between. You want to check one thing or the other, but there's full concentration when you are going through the physical. And you assimilate whatever you want to assimilate within that period. Then you do the whole thing, the full concentration is on it. And I think I prefer that.
Okay.
At the same time, although, like I said, yes, it's good. Very, very good. And we encourage ICT. But at the same time, it's like we have to give our youth this mindset that what they should go for on it, on their laptop or whatever, should work and encourage them, work and educate them, work and improve them, not thinking of how you can do any scam or anything outside that. And that's why I still stress. And I want to tell you, no matter the development of the ICT, the physical book, the physical library cannot be cancelled. Cannot be cancelled.
Okay. So would you say everything that has advantage has disadvantages except reading? Do you agree to that?
I agree that. As a librarian, I agree.
Okay. I think we'll find a way of putting that adage to part of our adage, and it will be written that Mrs. Remind me of the name. Abidoye by Mrs. Roslyn Abidoye. Okay, and finally, there is this common saying that's a little contradicting. They say the more you read, the more you see. However, we still say the more you see, the less you know. This seems like a paradox to me. What is your explanation to this?
For me, as a librarian, I never see it that way. The more you read, the more you see. And the more you see, the more you advance. So I will never see it that way. I as a librarian. That's my own opinion about it.
Either you define intelligence as possessing knowledge that is given, or the ability to build and discover intelligence. Just be cognizant and know how many beans it takes to make 5. That is all we have for today's episode. A very big thank you to the library director, Kwara State Library Director, Mrs. Roslyn Abidoye.
You're welcome.
For that. Alright, until next time, live responsibly. I remain Aisha.
The clouds of Olori.
and standards high. Watch the zeros on our Facebook page at the Clouds of Olori. It's the Clouds of Olori.